Welcome to another episode of Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Tonight I'm going to be presenting to you a unreleased banknote of the former nation of East Germany. And I want to just read the words that I had prepared for this and then go into some sort of explanation or analyzation of design. There are people who have humanized the inhumanity that was East Germany, and I want to honor the people of East Germany at the same time be honest about the poor quality of their last family of banknotes. What I have here for you tonight is a 200 mark. It is dated 1985, but it was an unissued note. The measurement is 153 by 64 millimeters. The colors are predominantly green and brown. The note was printed in Leipzig, and the standard catalog of world paper money calls this a PIC 32, while the banknote book calls this a B306. I managed to get some additional information from Wikipedia about the disposition of the note. The front of the note, which you see here, is of an apartment building in the background and a family in the foreground, consisting of a father holding his little girl who is holding a teddy bear, and a little boy who is holding flowers standing next to a mother. The back of the note shows a school building, a smiling teacher, and a bunch of little kids playing a kindergarten game. On the surface seems to be a cute little banknote with a couple of interesting vignettes. I know as a school teacher, I enjoy seeing schools and children on banknotes, but more on that in a little bit. Due to imminent reunification, this note was never issued. The values were extremely high for the local economy as well, and it was thought that this note was originally held for the event of a war with the West, should that ever end up happening. I guess they were expecting it in 85. But after unification, these notes were buried in a Cold War bunker in the state of Saxony-Anhalt. All notes of this type are technically stolen currency. Some young adults, of course, got in and did what young adults do, got nosy and went through stuff, and the numismatic community started finding quantities of this note and one other that had never been released, and got back to the authorities, and the students were, or the young adults were, from what I understand, arrested and had to pay a fine, which maybe they tried to use these notes to pay the fine. That I don't know. But it was a negligible charge. But it did make obvious to the authorities that they needed to destroy all of this extinct money from a nation that no longer existed. That happened. It took some whiles to do it. And we are left in the numismatic community with a banknote like this, with children and a teacher on one side, and a family on the other side. I think that the prettiest thing about this note is actually on the left end of the note, and it's hard to see it right here, but there's a lovely little peace dove, and you can just see the shadow of the dove in the paper there on the end. Now, let's go to my commentary on this. My initial thoughts upon receiving this note, and even appreciating the fact that I didn't have to pay a good deal to have this unreleased note, I still was horrified by the quality of the design. The people on this banknote are extremely unattractive. It starts with their bad hair, and it just does not stop. The cuts of the clothing are unnatural. It's as though the artist didn't have a good grasp of proportion, with faces in the middle of gigantic heads, hairstyles, or, the cut of clothing or a human body. I think that it might be symptomatic of a decaying society, nation, and economy where artists were not being encouraged and maybe were not even available because of having fled the nation. I don't know. It's very sad. I do think that the buildings in the background are engraved rather well, and show indeed some interesting buildings. Whenever I look at the teddy bear, and when I look at the roses, and when I look at the family being a family, it just makes me sad. This this is not an attractive family on this note. I feel really bad because I don't want to ever see a family that must be a unit and think poorly of it. So I'm a little torn by the lack of artistry from a nation of artists as far as their currency is concerned. And whenever I look at the hairstyles and when I look at these little kids and this teacher smiling, I do have a hope that wells up from deep inside of me that they did not use actual pictures of children, because I'm not seeing health and I'm not seeing, I don't know. I hesitate to say too much, because if these are of real people, then I'm just very sad. I think that the smile is not natural, and it must be very surprising for any of us who grew up in a free country to think that the only people of East Germany that may have been truly happy are the non-existing people that appeared on their banknotes. That being said, collectors of the themes of families, teddy bears, kids, flowers, teachers, school kids, schools, nations that no longer exist, bad haircuts, and teddy bears will probably want one of these banknotes for their collection, and that alone makes this note worth it. I do hope that you will visit. Click on the purple circle to subscribe and provide feedback that you have of this note or any of the other notes on my YouTube channel, Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Let me know what you would like to see, and let's move forward on this together. I am Benjamin. Have a jewel of a day.